You first. Are you? I don't know. Mine X came up first. Thick. Good morning. Hello over there on Twitch. I see you. Infinite water. Sorry, Marina. Stay gone. No, the entire album is just like I've just been replaying it over and over and over and over. Pretty much what I've been doing. Oh, I need to fix my. I didn't get my like bar up. I'm sorry. Ugh, let me turn Tickfinity on. Thank you so much. 6, 7. Okay, there it goes. I fixed it. All right, let's make sure we're doing all the good things as we come in. And then we'll get to Midterm Monday. If you are over there on YouTube, if you could hit that thumbs up button for me, that would be great, please. I appreciate it. Thank you, Justin. Thank you. Cause if I never see you again, you can be anything I want. That's interesting, Globe Checker, because before Trump was president, before the election, I was still doing this. Because don't know if you know, Globe Trekker, politics actually doesn't orbit around Trump. They just continue whether he's here or not, and they will continue long after he is gone. But on that note, good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I appreciate you guys being here on Midterm Monday. It is Memorial Day. Please do not put happy Memorial Day. It is not a happy event. It's not meant to be a happy event. It is meant to be a somber day of remembrance for those we have lost while they were serving our country. So please be respectful of that. I would appreciate it. And we will get started this morning with our election calendar. But let's go through the spiel. If you are on TikTok, can you make sure that we are tapping the screen, sharing the live out? You can repost it. You can add it to your story. You can share it to 5 of your friends. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. Guys, I added a few new stickers on there. I think there's one of me in a cowboy hat, one of me doing a heart with a little cat robot thing on my face. And also I did key lime pie line is now a sticker in there because for some reason we're still bringing that up. Almost 10 years later, if you count 2018, 6 years later, if you're going from 2020. So those are all, thank you so much, Oya. I gotta do like that. Thank you, Oya. Jesus, are you just knocking out my gift gallery? Is that what you're doing, Oya? Holy crap. Holy crap. You guys, I want to see huge W's for Oya for pretty much almost knocking out my entire fucking gift gallery. I want to see the W's. Thank you so much. But yeah, so if you do your daily heart me, you get access to those fun stickers that I've added new ones of over the weekend. And guys, we have the roses goal. If we could start getting that accomplished, that would be great. But still, make sure you are tapping and doing the good things to get us on the algorithm. If you're watching on YouTube, if you could hit that thumbs up button for me, I would appreciate it. It does help push us onto the algorithm in case we do have conversations today. Oh my gosh, Mia, thank you. Shake it. That's what we were all doing last night. We were all shaking it like that corgi. And if you are on Twitch, good morning, good afternoon. I see you guys over there. Thank you so much for the support. We will get started. Thank you, Ari. Okay. So, did you guys just finish it? Did you guys? Jesus. Okay. Huge W's to Oya, W's to Ari, and W's to Mia. Thank you guys so much for knocking out. I fell in the gift rankings. Thank you so much for completing my gift gallery on Monday. Holy crap. Thank you. Thank you. All complete before Sunday. My audit, we're starting already. The daddy issues brought to you by Trump derangement syndrome. Maybe. I have his picture. My dad did not die in service. He died after, but from all accounts, because of his service. So that's my father. He served this country for about 12 years. And he did not die in service, so I do not count him in with Memorial Day, but he was a veteran of this nation, and he did die after, because he was in the Korean War, he was in Kuwait. Let's add all the list of other fucking traumatic things that happened to him. He had seizures, and he just happened to have one where he didn't wake up. So yeah, maybe my daddy issues are the reason that I don't think we should be in an unlawful war in Iran. But we're going to get started with Midterm Monday this morning, guys. Okay. There's not that many for tomorrow. So remember, there are elections all the time. So there are elections tomorrow, May 26th, okay? I only have 3 for the 26th, and I have 1 for the 28th. And then we get into next week, which, of course, I will be here for. So there's no issue there. We have Florida. Florida has local elections tomorrow. South Carolina, if you're in South Carolina, you also have local elections tomorrow. And then Texas, you have a statewide primary runoff election tomorrow as well. So let's make sure we are paying attention to those things, okay? And then on the 28th, okay, in Ohio, in Whitehall, you have the Whitehall Mayor and City Council recall. So just make sure we're paying attention to our elections. They are constant. They are never ending. Politics is not an every 4-year thing or even an every 2-year thing. It is constant. It is all the time. We need to make sure we're paying attention to that. Then we get into June, which I will talk to you guys about next week, obviously, because I'm going to be there and I'm going to see you. So not any kind of an issue there. In way of my spiel, I'm not as worried about it today because of the day that it is, but just to piss Globetrotter off, really. I have my 100 goal that I have every single day. Guys, this is my job. This is what I do for a living. So if you would like to contribute to that, it is a lot better than doing the GIFs on YouTube and TikTok because it goes directly to me. They don't take as much. So if you would like to do that, the link tree is in my bio. I have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all of those wonderful things to get us started here. But if you do, if you are on YouTube and you would like to send a super chat, or you're on Twitch and you would like to send bits, all of those things are there as well, and I appreciate them all. Okay, we are going to get started here. It's going to be kind of all over the place a little bit. It's just that kind of day. There hasn't been a lot of news, which I take as a good thing, but also I totally agree with what Mia said this morning. It makes me anxious because what the fuck are they going to get into? So what we're going to do is we are going to go into this 60 minutes interview, and I'm going to play the whole thing. They're usually about 13 minutes, so it's pretty long, but we are going to watch it. Andrew Ross Sorkin is one of the best economic journalists that are out there. He wrote a book called 1929 discussing everything that led to and during the crash of 1929 and what led us there. He is anticipating a crash. Now, a lot of people are anticipating a crash, and for some reason, it's just getting buried. So we're going to go into the 60 minutes about Andrew Ross Sorkin talking about the possibility of that crash. So that is what we are going to do. Hello. Okay, let me put this up. I'm trying to get myself together today. I am tired and not with it. Okay, Andrew Ross Sorkin, guys. Make sure we're doing the good things while we're sitting here, please. I would appreciate it. Sorry, thank you, Justin. I didn't fix it. You're right. You're right. I apologize. We go back. Arturo, what it looks like is happening beneath the surface. What it looks like is very similar. He's comparing it to 1929. I compare it a lot to 2008, which is that we have propped up our market. At the time, right? It was the housing market, which everybody said was stable and not going to move. Same with like the dot-com bubble and things like that. Is AI. This idea that AI is some basis now to hold our economy up, when in and of itself, we know that Sam Altman has been asking the government to give him a fund for a just in case. Why? Because AI is bleeding money. They are bleeding liquidity. They're not holding liquidity. It's not, yeah, it is a bubble. It's absolutely a bubble. And it's going to burst. But we're building our economy off of it. Sure, that's fair, Arturo. You said China's AI capabilities have sparked our race, but we're doing it too fast, in my opinion. That's fair. I could see that. Like, China's doing it better than we are. We're doing it fast because we're not regulating it. And my concern is, it's not like I'm trying to get rid of AI. I would like AI to be regulated. I would like it not to base our economy off of AI too. That would be great. But I also think the people who are leading in the United States in AI, I don't trust. Most of those people are very anti-democracy, pro-technocracy. Like, I have issues with the people themselves who are in charge of these companies. And so stop giving them government contracts for their AI programs. It needs to be more regulated than it is. It's not going away. We just need to filter it.
Bubble of some sort.
Richard, no. Andrew Ross Sorkin, for people who've never seen, I watch Andrew Ross Sorkin a lot. I love Andrew Ross Sorkin. I say he has lizard eye. It's not a glass eye. That is his eye. Not only does he have, is it heterochromia? I can't remember, where his eyes are different colors. It is a genetic condition where his iris, it did not, like, it enlarged and stayed that way, just genetically in the womb. I can't remember what it's called. I've looked it up before, but it's not a glass eye. I know a lizard eye is crazy. I love him, to be fair, Arturo. Remember, Donald Trump and Doge, specifically Elon Musk, got rid of the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which we've talked about and I've talked about. I understand why, and I can tell you in a second. But I do not understand because it costs, they brought in more money than it cost for the department to run. So what was the fraud, waste, and abuse that you were getting rid of by getting rid of the CFPB? Anna Secoria. Thank you so much, Justin. Anna Secoria. I've looked it up before. I just don't ever remember the name. It just doesn't sit in there. But Elon Musk got rid of it because the CFPB was investigating his businesses. Where was the fraud, waste, and abuse within the CFPB? Nobody can tell me that. They just say, well, there and Elizabeth Warren and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, same with USAID. So Martina, I believe you're right. I think the digital payments, CFPB was looking at, I want to say they were looking at Tesla specifically. It's been a long time since I've looked at their list because they used to have it listed like current investigations that they had. I believe it was Tesla specifically. USAID was Starlink in the satellites that they had given they had paid for by USAID to give to Ukraine. And for some reason, those satellites that were given specifically would go out during certain attacks that Russia was committing on Ukraine. Interesting. So he's being investigated by USAID. So Richard, I just looked that up. He was on the board of HIAS. I'm going to call it HIAS. He resigned before becoming director of Homeland Security under the Biden administration. Can you show me any policy? I'm genuinely asking. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm genuinely asking. Can you show me any kind of policy that was put forward by Alejandro Mayorkas as DHS, specifically benefited HIAS? Because I would like to see it. I have no love for Alejandro Mayorkas, so.
We haven't allowed them to get access.
No, but HIAS is very specific, Richard. You can't just talk about immigration in general. HIAS is very specific. It is a Jewish collaboration, correct? So what policies made it so there was an influx of Jewish immigrants into our country? That wouldn't make any sense. How would he be benefiting HIAS and then therefore himself? That's the thing. That's the difference, right? This whataboutism isn't working because Elon Musk specifically went after departments in the government that were, one, more beneficial than they cost to run, and two, that were specifically going after him. So he had an actual benefit. What benefit was Alejandro Mayorkas getting? And again, you would have to show me policy to allow immigrants into the country for a organization that's specifically targeted towards Jewish people and he no longer worked for. It's about migrating to Western nations. Okay, cool. Show me where he got any benefit from that and what policy he instituted that migrated a bunch of immigrants to the Western nations. Can you show me that? Then I will totally be on board with you and I will absolutely admonish Alejandro Mayorkas the same way that I do Elon Musk. But your whataboutism is falling kind of flat, Richard. Interrupting, but this is really going to bother me. You said it's about his practical application. What did he apply practically that did that? Okay? Give me something. He did not. No, he didn't. He did not remove MPP. You guys don't know anything about that. What were the practical applications, Richard? What were they? What were the results? We can get to the results of the practical application after you get to what the practical application was. You're just saying things. Arturo, you said Mayorkas gave extra time off and vacation pay in the tune of billions, and if they were on vacation, they're not stopping the excess of illegals, correct? So I would need to see a source for that. Arturo, do you happen to have one? Like that he gave CBP agents more time off or ICE agents more time off, and so they were not able to do their job? I would love to see that. I don't know, 10+ million illegals being allowed to cross. Richard, sweetheart, you need to go read DHS's numbers because it's not that. You're talking about encounters, not crossings, because we don't track crossings. There we go. Thank you, Arturo, for being genuine and actually looking for sources for me. I appreciate it. Richard, get your hand out of your belly. The market taught him that crypto is not heavily regulated. And so therefore you can make a shit ton of dirty money off of rug pulls with crypto. That's what it taught him. Not that it's beneficial, but that's what it taught him. Let's see. I'm going to write that down to read later, Arturo. So Washington Times. Let me write down Mayorkas vacations for agents, at least so I have something to go off of. Because again, there's no love lost here on this platform for Alejandro Mayorkas. I don't think he was strong enough in his role in DHS. I have no problem with that. The issue that I have is people like Richard. So you're implying the crossing are actually higher since we can both agree that the encounters would clearly be lower than the captures. No, Richard. All that tells me, Richard, is that you don't know, one, that again, we do not track crossings in this country. ICE, CBP, we don't track those things. DHS. But it also tells me that you have no fucking clue what an encounter is. So Richard, what I would urge you to do is look up what an encounter is. It encompasses 3 different things. What are they? Okay? Okay. Add $2.6 billion there. Okay. I will look that up, Arturo. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. That's really all I ask for from people when I have conversations is factually based information. Again, I would like to see then I would like to see a study how that correlates to an inability to do the job at the border. But absolutely, I have no problem looking into that. So just because I didn't know that he was part of HIAS doesn't mean that I don't know his role. I'm not defending him. I am asking you to prove that he was working for HIAS, which was your whole whataboutism in regards to Elon Musk. Anyway, Bluey said, if you lose your retirement money in gambling stocks, you'll be fine. Right, exactly. So again, coming back to this guy who admonished crypto and now has realized I can make a lot of money with this unregulated system, and now he's fine with it.
There is a role for crypto in the same way that
Richard, I wasn't being defensive. I literally said, I'm not being condescending. I am literally asking you for a source. I'm not saying the source doesn't exist. I was asking you for, like Arturo gave me, some sort of practical application, those were your words, that caused it. That's what I'm saying. For the benefit of HIAS. Show me that he did something that benefited HIAS in regards to bringing a vast amount of immigrants into the country. Show me the policy, show me the memo, show me the piece of legislation. I would appreciate it. Thank you, DF. I was going to bring that up right now. Actually, perfect timing before I start the clip again. I wasn't defending Mayorkas. I was asking you for the source of the claim you made. You see the difference? Arturo did that, right? W's for that. Thank you so much. Can I get W's for DF25? I appreciate you, DF25, for the $25 on the Blue app. So thank you for everything you do. I appreciate the content you share. Love DF25 with the thank you Memorial Day. Thank you. We are remembering those fallen in service today. So let's make sure that we do that. But thank you so much for the 25. I appreciate it. That brings us down to 75. Like I said, I'm not as big on it today. I understand it's going to be a little slower. It's a holiday. I don't even like calling it a holiday, but people are going to be barbecuing and doing the things, I guess. And we are going to keep covering the news that we can cover while we're here. You said basically Alejandro Mayorkas being the Homeland Security Director would be like David Duke being the Civil Rights Director. Show me that through policy. Not just, you don't think. Show me that through policy. Show me how Mayorkas implemented that. That's all I'm asking. Manny, thank you so much. I have a wonderful, wonderful community here who was going through the article you sent me, Arturo. Basically saying, I will say, man, the argument where it started from, and I don't think Arturo is making that argument. I think Arturo is just bringing up a point to have it be looked at. To be fair, and if I am incorrect, Arturo, let me know. But saying that, is it possible that the fact that the CBP agents worked, like you said, instead of 6 days, they worked 4 days a week, right? And maybe they had a lot more vacations granted. Would that, in and of itself, again, and I even said that, would that correlate to more people coming over? But again, then did Mayorkas do that purposefully with the purpose of benefiting HIAS to bring more immigrants over, right? Because that's where Richard is at. And I don't know why Richard is there. Again, we were talking about Elon Musk and his benefit, and we're getting this really, and that's the biggest piece is, and he's not the only one saying this, based off of what we're looking at, we're probably going to have a crash. They're just trying to hide it with this administration as best they can. And I wouldn't say that other administrations wouldn't. I think other administrations would try to hide it as well. But it's coming. It's absolutely coming. I don't know what me being an atheist has anything to do with you being able to prove your point, Richard.
You and your anti-God rhetoric, God controls our interwebs and the traffic of the web. Yep.
Yeah, weird. Arturo said the fact we paid for the vacation time does kind of get me. Just use your already high-paid government salary. But to be fair, we pay that too, Arturo. We pay that government salary. That's our money. Seeing as DHS is the executive branch, that's going to be federal taxes allocated from Congress in order to do it. So that's.
You don't like how the money's being spent? Contact your local rep.
Oh, I know, Blue. I know Richard is just racist. He just, and now he's saying that how can you not know about these well-spoken things? I know about the things you guys say. I want to see them proven. So one more piece within the economy, we're going to move on to Hassett, who, my favorite fucking person to represent Donald Trump and his economic goals or economic accomplishments. I really do love him because keep putting him out because he is the worst person. Again, if we're talking about things like a crash, thank you, Andrew Ross Sorkin, for all of that wonderful information. And thank you, the 60 Minutes host, for doing such a wonderful job as well. But if you are talking about a crash, we have recession indicators, okay? Hassett was the one who came out, and I will keep repeating this until the cows come home. Hassett is the one who said that credit card spending by Americans is through the roof. And he said that's a good thing, when we know that that is actually a recession indicator, because it means that people cannot afford the necessities that they need, again, necessities, based off of their already given paycheck. So if they're buying gas, if they're buying groceries off of credit cards, that's a recession indicator that's bad. And Kevin Hassett said that that was good. So here he is again lying and saying that the war is not affecting anything except for consumer sentiment, which he's going to change to political sentiment. Because we saw consumer sentiment was, from the University of Michigan, was estimated to drop down to about 48%, which is already bad in and of itself. But it actually dropped to about 44%. Consumer sentiment is about 44%. That's really, 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 really bad. And so Kevin Hassett is going to try and pretzel and change that and say that that is just political, that for some, people are answering these surveys specifically to hurt Trump's feelings. And that everything else is fine regardless of the fact that gas keeps fluctuating because of his market manipulation. But even so, it's up. Like right now, it's like at $90 a barrel for crude. And that's still up higher than it was before he started this war. And he's not doing anything to fix it. Grocery prices are up. People are having trouble surviving. And Kevin Hassett's like, it's fine. Just shh, it's fine.
You don't dispute that the war has taken a toll on parts of the economy.
Right now, consumer confidence is the highest it's been in since the beginning of the year, and so you don't see a toll of the war on consumer confidence, which is the Conference Board survey. But again, GDP now, the Atlanta Fed's estimate of second quarter GDP is north of 4%. We've got initial claims for unemployment insurance as low as they've been since the 60s, and so there's so much going on that is really, I think, surprising people that think that the disruption from the Middle East is going to harm the economy. It's just not there in the data, except for the consumer.
Except for gas prices and grocery prices and fertilizer prices, and jet fuel prices. Except for all of those, right? It's not affecting the economy. Except for all that stuff, Kevin. Okay.
Sentiment data, but I actually think that we should stop calling it consumer sentiment and start calling it political sentiment, because the variable is it's really a political variable, not an economic variable.
The data on gas prices is pretty undeniable. You don't dispute that.
And she tells him that the data on gas prices is pretty undeniable. Arturo, I would agree with you. You said if people know how to use credit correctly, it would be great, but we're using it to survive, which is the worst thing U.S. Americans can do. Some of it feels indoctrinated to keep us down and in control. I think that's fair. The idea of how you use credit, it's a game, and it's a game that you have to play. But I think that the way we are forced to play it, because it becomes a necessity to survive, is where the problem lies. I would completely agree with you on that. Guys, if you want to just keep petty muting Richard at this point, you absolutely can. You can do, your 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you want to do, because he's obviously got no sources, and he's just going to sit here and cry and live in his bubble of la, 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 and not give me any factual information that maybe I've never seen before. I have no problem with reading stuff I've never seen before. That actually thrills me. I'm tired of reading the same sources and bringing up the same sources to you guys over and over again. But, it's cool. It's cool. Credit root of all evil. I don't know if I'd go that far. Maybe. You jumped in and now you're not loading. I can't help you with that. Try again when you're in a better spot. Not babe. Okay. Moving on. What do I want to move on to here? First off, let's do since it is midterm Monday, I probably should have started with this, but it's fine. We're going to do, Donald Trump officially endorsed Ken Paxton over John Cornyn in the primary race to run against Tallarico in November. Mike Johnson, Donald Trump, they like to tout that Donald Trump's endorsement means everything and that it's so beneficial and it equals wins. Well, it doesn't seem to be working because even the people in Texas who are Republican, and I've seen all sorts of interviews, I don't have those right now, but all sorts of interviews from conservatives in Texas who can't stand him because he's a crook and a piece of shit. And it doesn't seem to be working for his number. So here's our good boy, Red Bull Golden Retriever, Harry Enton, who we haven't seen in a while, but here he is with some polling on what happened after Trump endorsed Paxton.
Choice for Texas Senate. You got Tallarico here at 44%. And then look at here. Ken Paxton, a Republican in Texas. The best he can do at this point is averaging 40% of the vote. I mean, I was looking at all the polling I could find. This is the best that a Democrat for Senate has been polling since like 2002. That is a very long time ago. When you have to go all the way back since I was in middle school, you know that the Democrat in this particular case is polling well in Texas. Choice for...
That's not good. And again, source is going to be Enton's aggregate, but what that means is he took all of the polling he could find on Tallarico versus Paxton and did the aggregate or the average to get to where we're getting to. And at best, still 4 percentage points behind Tallarico. So we're going to keep pushing. And we're going to keep pushing policy because I highly doubt that Paxton's policy is going to be better or more beneficial for the American people than Tallarico's. So let's just make sure we are keeping up and paying attention to that in Texas. That is going to be a big one. Yeah, super close. It's definitely going to be close. It's not going to be an easy thing. Okay, I'm going to go to this. It's a propaganda section I made.
Woo! Propaganda!
So I was having arguments actually on Twitter about this. Again, here's another person I have.
You actually argue?
Not
You
argue.
with people on Twitter? I don't.
No, I just kind of quote tweet. Dum-dums. Even on our side. Another person that there's no love lost for is Hunter Biden. Okay? You guys made him a talking point, so here we are. However, he went on Candace Owens' podcast. Now, Candace Owens has been talking shit on that man for years. Conspiracy on that man for years. And I saw quite a few people on the left or liberal side who were on Twitter saying, I can't believe he would do this. Why would he go on this thing? I completely disagree. I think it's a great thing that he goes on these podcasts. I think it's the same way as I really, really love that Buttigieg goes on Fox News and Newsmax and News Nation and OAN. I think that you need to go to these places. Again, it's one of my biggest, I understand the scheduling. Kamala Harris should have figured out a fucking way to do Joe Rogan. I'm sorry. She should have figured out a fucking way. You need to go to these places and not make them come to you. It doesn't work. So, I think it's a beneficial thing that he went on her podcast to have the conversation. So, I'm going to play this clip specifically about the laptop, right? The laptop, which he even, again, we use colloquially, we use laptop. He does correct it. It was a hard drive. And that conversation, because the amount of times you guys still bring it up, MAGA, that you still bring it up, is unhinged. When I don't think you understand it at all. I don't think you understand what the FBI released in their memo about it. Nobody said it didn't exist. What they said they could not confirm was the chain of custody. That is represented here. That is talked about here. He's going to talk openly. I will say trigger warning. He is going to talk openly about his addiction. Him and Candace Owens are going to use the term crackhead. He's going to call himself one. Candace Owens is going to call him one. I just want to trigger warning anybody who is possibly in recovery for the words that get used. They're not gentle about his addiction in any way in the words that they use. I just want to let you know that. However, I still think it's beneficial to watch. I think it is beneficial to for him to go on these places and kind of just get rid of that narrative about him so that maybe we can stop talking about him. Maybe. That would be nice. I would really appreciate it if we could get to that point, but, here we are.
I'm certain that we disagree on a lot of stuff, but there used to be a time, Candace, where you and I could sit down together and disagree about tax policy and disagree about, the Catholic Church's view on abortion, or disagree with, whatever the subject may be. and still be able to go have a meal together.
Right. I talk about that often on my show. Like back when I was left leaning in college, my best friend was Republican conservative. Like it wasn't so at each other's throats and hating each other and wanting to destroy.
Brian, you said that if you go on Joe now, you're an obvious plant. Maybe. He used to be better. I would say that the most recent, he did a Mark Andreessen thing. That was gross. And honestly, it just shows how unintelligent and uneducated Joe Rogan is, because Mark Andreessen is talking and he's just kind of like, oh yeah. Like he's doing way too much. Yeah, Elon, Peter Thiel, all of the PayPal mafia bros that he has on now go way over his head. He needs to stop interviewing them because he's causing more harm than good by having them on.
One another, and you can kind of see the good and the bad and go, well, this is why I have this perspective, and perspectives could change, and that was allowed too. I think about what it was that, just revisiting what made a lot of people, including myself, so angry about you. Or I guess it wasn't really about you. It was the gaslighting. It was the letter that came from people saying it was Russian propaganda. That is what is driving us crazy about the Epstein files right now. It's what's actually leading, ironically, to the collapse of the MAGA support, is we don't want to be gaslit.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it wasn't you. That's why it was so refreshing when you were like, yes, I had a crack addiction. This is me. I did this.
That's what it's so funny to me. We are going to talk shit on Candace a little bit here. We don't like to be gaslit. You were the one doing the gaslighting. It was y'all. Y'all were the ones running the story about the laptop over and over and over and over and over again. So it's so funny to me. Like, we don't like to be gaslit, except you were the one doing it.
I was with hookers, but you weren't speaking for you. And there were literally a bunch of people that were coming out and saying, this is not real. Yeah. And that is the most infuriating thing because everyone's average. Everyone can connect with addiction. Everyone could have this conversation. Actually, if you would come out and I probably in that environment, obviously, maybe there would have been a different result because we were at each other's throats.
No, exactly.
But that is what made people so angry. Yeah. It was like, nope, he never smoked crack. It wasn't real. Yeah. The laptop is Russian propaganda.
Nobody said that. Nobody said he never smoked crack. Nobody said he didn't pay escorts for sex. At least I never heard that. Can you give me an example of a creator or a politician who was saying that? I've never seen that said. Nobody said that. We very much were well aware that he had an addiction. We said we didn't care. Exactly, right? We said we didn't care. We said he is the president's son. He has no role in official office. He's not advising his father in any way. If you want to admonish, which we did, him going on foreign trips with his father on Air Force One, totally valid. I have no problem with that. If he wanted to go be with his dad, he could have flown, economy like the rest of us. I have no problem with that. However, we did not say he didn't have a crack addiction. And we didn't say the laptop was Russian propaganda, which he's going to correct. We said that the chain of command and what all was on it. Because not only were there accusations, which were true, the accusation of him paying escorts for sex, women of legal age, that was true. There were accusations of CMAS, child sexual abuse material. No, that's the problem. And again, the chain of command, Giuliani had this hard drive in his possession at one point in time. How can we, and the FBI said that is where they cannot determine what was on there from Hunter Biden versus what might have been put on there.
But guys, what is
Sam?
this?
I said CMAS, didn't I? See, Sam.
Is that, here's the problem, is that Steve Bannon saved, and Rudy Giuliani saved the quote-unquote laptop, which, by the way, is bullshit. Like, if we can agree on that gaslighting, I will agree on the gaslighting of this, is that there was never a quote-unquote laptop. There was a hard drive of stolen and hacked material, wherever it came from, whether it came from a Delaware repair shop or whether it came, like Lev Parnas says, from Dmitry Firtash, who was trying to sell a hard drive of Hunter Biden's in Ukraine, that they were looking for before the laptop repair shop got.
What's up, babe?
Where is everyone?
Probably drunk.
I don't need that code. It accidentally sent you, so.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I was wondering what that was. I figured it was just a scam, so I just ignored it.
Oh, yeah, it's me.
Are you inside a
I was trying to
cement
watch
truck?
stuff. Close,
Okay.
but I'll go by.
Or a tumble dryer? Like, what the hell is happening? What's that noise?
I was ever the twinkle in the eye. Just go back and look at the record. Okay. So here's the thing. Is you're absolutely right. And and this is like the freedom of being able to say this. It's like, yeah, they should have let me go out and talk.
Yeah.
But it was 2 weeks before the campaign. And then and then the election was over. Steve Bannon, it goes on and with his buddy Gao, the Chinese.
And that's the point. Of course they didn't let him talk. Like, I don't agree with Hunter. Then no, they shouldn't have let you talk. It was fucking 2 weeks before this shit. Like, you absolutely not. Because that's all they wanted to make it about. Something that does not affect the American people. At all. You doing crack and having sex with escorts has nothing to do with the American people. Hunter Biden could get it, that's crazy. He's sober now.
Billionaire that's now in prison and, that is like a Chinese spy or whatever, where he got arrested on his boat and all that crap.
James, I didn't say it's okay to do crack. What are you talking about? He said probably drunk, but it's okay to do crack. Okay. I didn't say that. Didn't say any of that. I said that my viewership is low and it's been low all day today for me and my friends, probably because people are drunk. People tend to take holidays where they have a 3-day weekend and get drunk.
Go listen to it. Go listen to the recorded conversation in which they say, like, the laptop, like, we got him. We, so we we collected all the salacious pictures and we put them out there. And then Rudy went out and stood on the steps of the Newcastle County Courthouse with Bernie Carrick and said, this contains child exploitation, like pure, pure bullshit, just bullshit. So on both sides, you have this reaction, which I don't think was necessarily a coordinated reaction in the sense that, what do you do in 2 weeks? And so they come up with this and they say, and I don't get to go out and say, no, I was. But you know what I did? Is that come April, I write a book and I tell everybody I was addicted to crack. And here's my story. And here's what happened. And here is all of the rooms that no one would ever want to admit to being in that I was in. And it was like a blip on the radar because everybody was now fighting about whether there was kind of a suppressed story on Twitter and whether there was this gaslighting from, and by the way,
Masculinity, it's not a podcast, but sure, it isn't interesting. And yet you've been in here 2 or 3 different times. You're a fan, you're a fan, you're a fan. Interesting. Thank you, Ben, for the $2. You said Coked Hunter for Prez rather than what we have now. I don't know that I'd want... I mean, if the choice was between the two, sure, Ben. But those are terrible choices. I don't like that.
I am not here to defend any of
But then
those
it's
people.
part of like the political machine where they're like, we have 2 weeks to go to the election.
Yeah.
We're going to do this denial, because we can't afford this right now, essentially.
Yeah.
And then
Which is true. Now, the reasoning becoming Hunter Biden, 2 weeks before, Hunter Biden coming out and saying, hey, this part and this part of the hard drive are true, where I was on drugs and I was having sex with escorts, being true. You guys do this thing where you heard the first 2 statements and you stop listening to the rest. You're like, see, he said it's real. Everything else is real. And Joe Biden knew. Instead of actually having nuance and critical thinking skills and being able to say that although he admitted to the 2 things, we also still cannot confirm the chain of custody. We also still cannot confirm everything else that is on the hard drive, right? You guys tend not to be able to do that.
and we're going to table this, make it past these 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then by that time, first and foremost,
By
your
the way,
father
yeah.
won,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and so people are angry. They feel like the election's been stolen and that there was this entire collusion to cover a laptop, which if it was on the other side, they may have done too. This is what DC is. It's politics. But that is where I think the anger came from.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
I get it.
how dare you gaslight us?
Yeah.
And then people then start making you this focal point of
And it
like,
never had anything to do with me.
right. It was
And, you
kind
know,
of bigger than you at that point.
Which I don't know why she's saying it like she's separate from it. She literally participated in that. It was bigger than him. Right. So then why the hell did you spend so much time talking about him? He had nothing to do with his father's policy. Not that we've been able to see. Joe Biden is both sleepy Biden and criminal mastermind with his family at the same time.
You know what the laptop proved?
That you were a crackhead.
There you go.
That you
By
were
the way,
deep in the
all
throes
this
of crack
other,
addiction.
all this other bullshit, bribery and all these other things that they investigated up and down during the Trump administration with a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney.
During the Biden administration, did you know they investigated Hunter Biden under the Biden administration, and he ended up with 2 charges and 2 convictions. Well, technically not 2 convictions because he pled guilty to one of them, right? He had the gun charge, and he had the tax evasion charge under the Biden administration.
With the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, the only U.S. attorney in the country to stay on and continue to prosecute me, who then became special counsel after I got a plea deal because I paid my taxes late, and I paid them with penalties and interest, and I owned a gun for 11 days. While they say I was addicted and check that box. That's it.
That's it. So I think it was a good thing that he went on. Honestly, I think it was beneficial. Now we're going to move on to, I don't think Megyn Kelly knows who she is anymore. The amount of clips that I've played from Megyn Kelly critiquing President Trump, but also at the same time, she's still like, but I support him. Like, I don't think she knows what to fucking do with herself. So we're going to play this clip of her. She was speaking with the Hodge twins. God damn. And talking about Donald Trump's corruption. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Hello there. This is Mike from Wisconsin, and I am 51, and I voted for Donnie.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
I mean, several reasons there. I know y'all talking about Hunter Biden, and you know what? I'm not going to condemn the young fellow there because I even battled with the C-Rack, and I turned that addiction to a small business that I helped. But I would say I would support Trump because the things he's been going on about, trying to get the border and the war. And I know Olive over there. Unfortunately, I couldn't talk on her show earlier because I was a little occupado there, and but she was going on about MAGA, about not being good spellers and smart, and I have to contest that because I became worked hard as a business owner, trying to make the best sleepwear for Americans, and
by selling C-Rack?
No, sleepwear.
Oh, sleepwear.
No, yeah.
Okay.
For great Americans, and I would honestly say that I've got a pretty good education, but my main thing was I didn't want to vote for Harris only because I had heard. I mean, from everybody around me and everything I heard that I don't know what's TikTok appropriate, but I heard that she was, she was a HORE, and I'm a good-hearted Catholic, and I don't think I could support that.
Yeah. How many spelling bees have you competed in?
I mean, quite a few. I mean, I was my 4th grade elementary's spelling bee competition winner there.
What word did you win on?
What? Unilateral.
Unilateral. Okay.
But why are you asking me that? I mean, I didn't get anything wrong.
Was she a hoe or a whore? Which one were you spelling there?
Oh, you could say that. I said the whore. HORE. What?
I mean, you keep working on that. I think if you keep working on your spelling, I think one day you will pass the test.
Okay, well then what's the proper spelling on it if you're so smart, young lady?
WHORE.
What the hell is a whore? I love you, Moni.
I love you,
Women are the
RFK.
best.
I'm like, who is this?
It's RFK. Are kidding me?
Well, you know what?
How'd you get that so fast?
I'm talented.
Oh,
I'm sitting there and he's like, I normally talk to all of them. Like, I know who the fuck this is.
I know. I was trying to hold it together. Tell me why the numbers on YouTube went up from that. That's crazy.
I mean, I had probably close to 300 when Blue was talking to that one guy for a little bit, but they still won't call.
No. Thank you, Manny, for going through this. Let me read this. Nothing noteworthy on the HIAS front. Here are some searchable items if you care to look into it, but ultimately it's a nothing burger. Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society as a board member from July 2020 to November of 2020. Ethics paperwork shows it. Right, yeah, he resigned from there. Claims that he raised refugee admission ceiling specifically for Jewish people. Mayorkas cannot raise this. Biden has to. Ceiling was at 85,000 in 2016, 110,000 in 2017, 45,000 in 2018. 125,000 in 2022 and then remained at 125,000 until 2025. Conservatives tried to run with a refugee pathway for persecuted religious minorities from either the Soviet Union or Iran, saying this is part of the HIAS stuff. This includes Jewish people, Christians, Baha'i. I'm not going to say this because I'm going to completely butcher them. Baha'is, Sabian Mandeans, and Zoroastrians. It's called the Lautenberg Refugee Amendment and existed since 1990. Well, the thing is, and again, Richard's point was that it wasn't just about like immigrants of certain ethnic religious creeds. It was just immigrants in general. Like the 10 million, 15 million, 20 million, 25, all the way up to like 30 million. I think I keep hearing numbers from of immigrants. It was about, bringing them over. We were talking about Elon Musk personally benefiting from what he did to CFPB and USAID. But I'm not seeing the benefit for Mayorkas. I'm still not seeing that. But thank you, RF Kidding Me, for the laugh, because that's everything I need. So here's, as Blue said, she's never known who she is. This is true. Poor Megyn Kelly. Therapy. Talking about the corruption that we've been talking about all last week. Donald Trump's trades and in stocks. And how he's been effectuating money making for his business. You were Mike Lindell, is crazy. And also these trades that are going on within Polymarket and Kalshi that we're not sure who's doing them, being investigated by the DOJ. We'll see if we get anything. Again, that's the point. I want to keep on DOJ's ass because who the fuck is trading on oil in regards to Iran 15 minutes an hour before Donald Trump makes announcements about Iran. So
I have to be honest, I didn't expect the corruption to be quite as, widespread as it's been. And
I will say that means she did expect corruption. She expected corruption. She didn't expect it to be this bad. That's an interesting take. It's an interesting way to phrase that sentence.
The self-dealing and the lining of his and his family's pockets, that's been a little shocking.
Talking
and
billions
I
of dollars.
just didn't expect Trump to be so disrespectful of his base.
Right. Well, you know what, Megan? I got to push back a little bit because Trump didn't take a salary while he's president. So
prove that. You guys have been saying it. Prove it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. I mean, you look at across the board of the Trump family.
Which even then they're being kind of sarcastic, right? They're saying because this is the excuse that we get from MAGA. Well, he didn't take a salary. Yeah, he didn't have to because he's making so much fucking money hand over fist on fucking deals in stocks and bonds that he doesn't have to take a fucking salary. He's making so much fucking money.
I've never seen a family get so rich off of a presidency.
Right.
And it happened at the same time as we now have a Supreme Court ruling that basically says any official act he takes while in the White House is protected.
Right.
And those two things are, seem to be giving him some sort of a hall pass that could very much get abused. I don't want to, say he's crossed the line legally because I actually haven't taken a close look at that. But, he's done a lot that pushes it right up to the line. And I just...
Unhinged Stacy is back in the YouTube chat. Everybody, I just want everybody to know. She said that Megyn Kelly, which you spelled her name wrong, sold her soul to the devil. She's now a Democrat. And that the Democrat Party, which bugs me to know, and it's Democratic Party is a satanic cult. They sacrifice their babies to Lucifer. No, we specifically dedicate our babies to Lucifer so that they can grow up in the Church of Satan. It's very specific. You're getting it wrong. We don't sacrifice our babies. We sacrifice yours.
I don't think we want our presidents or their families getting rich off of the presidency. And I really want to know more about all these trades that are happening on Iran right before he makes the announcements. This is not the way it's supposed to be. This even one of those would have caused a massive scandal 12, 13 years ago. You know, we shouldn't be so far afield that like these obvious ethical questions get skirted past with just a shoulder shrug, because it does matter.
Stacey, when you can spell her name right, I guess then you can call her a Democrat. It's gonna be it's gonna be tough for you. You're having trouble. You're almost there. You're almost there, but that's not how you spell her name. Guys, it is 11:10. Zoroastrianism is the original faith of the Iranian people. Thank you, Ken, for the education. I appreciate that. We are at 50,000 likes again. I know that the numbers are a little lower. I know there's a lot of men on today, or there were. So their numbers are bigger. But if we can keep pushing and keep tapping, I appreciate it. If we could get to about 75,000 likes before we hit 11:30, I would appreciate that so very much. We are a little behind, but we're doing good. So I appreciate it. Let's do all the things. That's it. I'm going to YouTube. Bye, Chris. Have fun with that. Guys, there are 75 left in my goal. If you would like to contribute and help me, this is my job. This is what I do for a living. This is how I pay my bills. I have Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal on the link tree in my bio. It is just Monita on all of those platforms, but in case you want a direct link and to double check, you can absolutely do that. That's funny, since we were talking about aspirin and Band-Aids, which I know is why you said that. He lowered the price of aspirin and Band-Aids yesterday. Sure he did. I would love to see that. Okay. We keep going. I have one little section on Iran, and that is really just Mike Pompeo getting his ass chewed out on his lies. Mike Pompeo is going to say that Iran started this, and he's going to get corrected. And then he's going to say, oh, no, I mean because of the 70s. And then he's going to get corrected. It's really, really bad, the pretzels that you all have to go through to try and keep supporting something that is really, really not beneficial for the world, let alone for the American people at all.
This is what human decency demands. You don't let a radical regime close off the global economy by firing Shahed missiles into nations that did nothing. Right, they're firing into civilians in the United Arab Emirates, even just this week. That's just not something that the world can accept. And so this monster is worthy of the hunt.
You do know, Mike, that we started the war.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, no.
They weren't firing those missiles until Israel and the United States attacked Iran. You do understand.
Welcome to 1979, when the revolutionary regime began to kill Europeans.
You do know that we overthrew the democratically elected government in 1954.
Just for the...
He thought he had a dunk. He's all, well, if they stop shooting Shahed missiles, and he's like, well, they didn't start the war, we started the war. I'm talking about the 70s. And he's like, okay, I'm talking about the 50s. Oh, okay.
Record, you were talking about this.
You don't think you think Iran's forgotten about that?
No, I suspect they've not.
You don't think Iran remembers that we supported Saddam Hussein in the Iran-Iraq War?
I know
forgotten
this.
about this?
I know this.
Other countries have history.
Do you think Iran is a monster?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think.
Was Saddam Hussein a monster when we paid them to fight Iran? And then we decided they were a monster and went after them? The fuck?
I'm glad I don't live there. I think many countries do many bad things, including my own. And I wouldn't call the United States a monster.
But Stephen,
I would. That's where we differ. I would absolutely call the United States a monster. Absolutely. Hi, Sam.
Do also remember that we wouldn't have had October 7th if we hadn't had Iranian support for Hamas.
I agree. We wouldn't have had October 7th if we'd gotten peace in the Middle East, and that's a much longer story.
It is.
If we wouldn't have done Operation Ajax, if we wouldn't have staged a coup on their democratically elected leaders, maybe. What if? If. You don't get to stop at October 7th. Go back further.
And every single U.S.
Yap, I don't hate America. I love America. I want America to be better than putting our boots on the neck of other countries. I think that we should stop doing that.
The president has tried and will continue to.
Not very hard.
But it is very important to emphasize there's no evidence that Iran even knew about October 7th, much less caused it.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
I'm sure it is lovely to live where you live and believe that.
There's no evidence in the public record of that.
Oh my goodness.
Where's the evidence in the public record that they knew? Now, did they fund groups? Sure, absolutely. We did too. George, you can ask George H.W. Bush about what we funded that then became Al Qaeda. Yeah. Can ask about that. So Donald Trump has been around doing rallies and talking. So we're gonna listen to some Trump ramblings. I'm kind of just going through whatever the fuck today. Because I don't think you listen to this man talk. I really don't. I don't see what he's doing that's beneficial for America. I don't see how you listen to him and say this is a smart man. He's talking about his cognitive test again.
Them pretty hard. By the time you get to the end, there are not a lot of people in the room can get him, believe me. I said, well...
Yap. Prove to me that Iran was trying to make nukes, because there is no intelligence that says that's true.
It will be public, won't it? It'll be embarrassment, but let's do it. This was in my first term. I took it, and I aced it. And they had tough questions. So the first question was, you have a bear, a snake, an elephant, and a horse. Name the horse.
Oh, it's so difficult. Oh, I'm so proud of him. Maybe he can write his name next. Do you think maybe? I'm so proud of him. Believe. If you have your doctor making you take a cognitive test, if you have your doctor making you take cognitive tests that often, that's a problem. That's not good.
How does this test keep changing?
How? Why is this? It's not. It's the same. It's just animals. He just keeps changing the animal.
He mentions different animals every fucking time. What animal was it, motherfucker?
It depends.
And then
on
name
which
the
one they ask
horse.
you.
Like, okay, Fred. Do you get the points?
It just depends on the test he's taking and the time of day, you know?
Well, and it depends on the horse. Like, you gotta feel it out, like based off of what colors, what name it's gonna have, and you can't just name a horse.
We have looked at it 2 or 3 different times now. A sample of the test that he is taking, and the fact that he says that after that point, after the animals, it gets harder. When all it asks you to do is repeat words in forwards and backwards order and numbers in forward and backwards order.
Then draw hands on a clock. It's like, if that's harder, bud.
If that's hard, there's a problem. A horse with no name. And a horse with no name.
It makes me think of like all the stupid jokes like horse came in on a Tuesday.
You don't even get like if a train leaves Boston at 2 a.m. like it's not even like that. Like the horse was Mr. Ed. Yeah, after 4 years of Biden, it is hilarious, Tyler, because guess what? Joe Biden never talked about taking a cognitive test because that means his doctor didn't prescribe him one, which means he was still sharp.
Yeah,
What you are
his doctors didn't think
conflating,
you had dementia.
right? What you are conflating is the fact that you stopped listening to him or refused to listen to him because he had a stutter, or you just refused to listen to him because he's a Democrat, or you refused to listen to him because he's Joe Biden. I listen to Trump speak, unfortunately for my fucking ears and my brain. I listen to him speak. It's not pleasant.
Because we know you guys don't listen to him speak.
Exactly. And you know how I know it's not pleasant? Because when he's not doing well and he's not getting the claps that he thinks he deserves, he goes into a rant about the greatest hits. And here's an example of those greatest hits, all muffled in a row. Because it's all he has, because it's all you guys listen to. So you got with your tongue hanging out. Because you don't actually pay attention to what's beneficial for the American people. So let's listen to Donald Trump do the greatest hits, I guess. While you drool.
The illegal aliens are all over the place. The people are getting...
Are they? I thought he fixed that. You guys call me all the time to say that he fixed it. Wait, there's illegal aliens all over the place still? They're still all over the place? I guess he's not doing a good job.
Over the place. The people are getting shot left and right. The elections are rigged.
I thought he fixed crime. I thought crime is at its lowest point thanks to Donald Trump's administration. The elections are rigged. I thought he's winning. I thought he's winning all over the place. It's the best it's ever been. See, what he's doing is he's campaigning, even though he doesn't really care, and he even said he doesn't care about the midterms. He's campaigning because it's all he knows how to do is campaign. And the only way he knows how to do it is to give you guys the greatest hits.
I'm at this apartment complex delivering right now, and this guy's walking his dog and a goat.
Good for him.
Why you just have a goat in your apartment?
You let him live his life.
His dog's stopping to pee in the grass. The goat's eating the fucking grass.
Oh my God.
Illegal aliens are all over the place. The people are getting shot left and right. The elections are rigged. They don't have voter ID. They don't have proof of citizenship. Think of it. We want to get the Save America Act passed now.
Oh, that's what we're campaigning for. We're campaigning about an act that is, by the way, DOA in the Senate, already has been DOA in the Senate, that none of you have read or understand when we talk about it. So apparently everything he's fixed is not fixed because this hasn't passed. You see how that works? It's weird how all of a sudden all the problems that you guys complain about all the time come back in very specific instances. So don't come up here and tell me that he fixed it ever again, because then I'll just show you this clip, because apparently he didn't. It's interesting, isn't it? Nobody wants us to swallow a nuke from Iran. They never had one, so... They never had one. So, but also Trump tried to run a really good one. We love this one. This one's one of my favorites. We're going to get this done, guys. I swear.
And we will pass what we call the Great Healthcare Plan. The Great Healthcare Plan. To stop all payments to big insurance companies. The government...
Where? When? 2 weeks? He's been talking about this since his campaign in 2015-16, since first term. Where's the healthcare plan? Again, he has the majority in Congress, guys. They could be there doing the thing. They could be doing the damn thing. Where are they? Where are they? They won't pass shit. I agree with you. I don't think they'll pass shit either. I should have put this with his cognitive test, but I didn't. It's fine. Let's talk about the word he created that he didn't create, because you guys have been calling us that for fucking decades.
Oh, Democrat?
Yeah, let's talk about, did you guys know? Maybe you didn't. To be fair, you guys follow Trump, so maybe you didn't know. Do you know there's a B in it? He's learning about silent letters.
And I watched what he was saying and what the horrible things he was saying, and I said, he's a dumb guy. I said, wait a minute, he's a Democrat. That's how I got the name. You take the E out, you don't use the B. A lot of people don't know dumb has a B in it, actually.
What? A lot of people. Who is a lot? Is it you? Is it just you? I think it's just you.
You don't use the B. A lot of people don't know dumb has a B in it, actually.
I'm so proud of him. He just learned about silent letters. I'm so proud of him. I can't with you. I am bored.
I am bored.
That's probably what Melania said on the plane when he met him or met her. I am whore.
I am whore.
Not with the spit in the back of the throat.
You don't need it. You discard the B. But you take the E out and you replace it with a U.
Why does he talk like that, by the way? Because that's like, I don't... You take the E out. Why are you yelling?
He has to make sure we know what letter we're talking about.
It's the letter of the day. It's the letter of the day.
Wait, so you take the E out. Where's the E? Dem.
In Democrat, he replaced it with a U for dumb. But then he took out the
okay.
B. A lot of people don't know that there's a B.
Sitting there, I'm sitting here spelling. I'm like, the E? Where's the E?
You do not yell at me like that when you speak. When you emphasize words, you do not yell like that. That's not true. Don't put that evil.
I feel like it's just an old man thing.
I think it's just a Trump thing.
I mean, that could be it too. I don't know. My father does the same thing sometimes.
Did I ever criticize Obama for giving Iran $6 billion cash and bump started their acquiring of ballistic missiles? No, what are you talking about, Jimmy? Are you talking about the money that we owed them from the arms deal that we did not complete our end of the bargain of, that was instituted by a judge? Or are you talking about the frozen assets, which they only ended up having about $50 billion and they were not allowed to use it for those purposes? Which one are you talking about, Jimmy?
If Linetti talked like that, we would not be all right.
Now she's gonna
I'm
do
playing
it.
with my I'm playing with my hole, not the one with the silent W, but the a lot of people don't know.
There's a silent W in hole.
Wait in here.
That was a clip when he was talking about milk.
Oh,
No
yeah.
one knew that.
The W
Yeah,
in
no one
hole.
knew that hole had a W.
W. You're right. This is not the first time that he's learned about silent letters. When he was talking about
It's-
whole milk, he did that. You are so right. I forgot about that.
I love this for his journey.
Yeah, he's learning.
I'm sitting here, I'm like, there's a W in hole? Oh.
He said there was no arms deal. I didn't say $6 billion. He said $6 billion. I'm not saying it was $6 billion. Let's see.
About whole milk.
I
am poor.
I am poor. It was 1.7 billion for the arms deal. The arms deal was 1.7 billion. Oh no, wait. Where do you get? No, 1.7 is the total. No. Excuse me. It was 400 million for the arms deal. I apologize. They airlifted $400 million, which I don't even like that they say dollars because most of it was in francs and it was like Swedish currency. It was owed as part of a failed arms deal prior to 1979 Islamic Revolution, but payment coincided with the release of 4 Americans held in Tehran. Okay.
I mean, we did enjoy when I was reading the silent letters out loud in Blues Live.
Maybe Trump should start with that.
No, because then he's going to take what I did, and that's not nice.
Just ignore the truth. Where are you getting, let's see, Obama sent $6 billion. Where are you getting that? To Iran. Barack Obama did not send $6 billion to Iran, as a widely circulated claim that actually stems from a 2023 agreement made under the Biden administration. The $6 billion transfer, where's this coming from? The Biden administration had negotiated a prisoner swap to free 5 Americans wrongfully detained in Iran. As part of this agreement, $6 billion of Iranian funds had been frozen in South Korea, were unfrozen in trans. So their money. Okay. Cool. Anyway.
They're dumb. They are Democrats. You know why? Because their policies are dumb.
You don't know their
policies are very dumb. All of that policies.
Talks like a toddler.
Dumb. They are dumb. Dumb.
More.
Dumb.
More. Mommy. More. Sorry, I'm in a mood today. I know I'm supposed to be serious, but today I am not having it.
It's like oddly weird, but also nice to see like no big blaring headline news. I think the weather is fucking with all of us at this moment. I'm outside charging like a plant because my seasonal affective disorder is fucking with me.
Ack, you asked me a very serious question. I'm going to answer you. You asked, was it their money? Ack, it was their money.
The frozen assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their frozen assets.
Let's see.
No different than, I think it was Yemen. Yemen had some frozen assets from us. And then October 7th happened. So then we refroze it in Qatar, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. Where was this? I'm trying to find the... They said there was no arms deal.
During the Obama administration?
Right. So this is, I brought this up before. This is the Center for Arms Control and Non-Proliferation, Iran nuclear deal correcting misconception. So Lisa Grosh, a legal advisor for the Department of State, testified, which this hyperlink sends you to C-SPAN, before Congress that $1.7 billion was compromised of $400 million that Iran had placed in a U.S. foreign military sales trust fund and $1.3 billion in interest. At the time of the Iran deal negotiations, the United States and Iran were involved in a legal arbitration case over the amount of interest the U.S. owed on this fund. You can read about it. It's right there for you. The info is always right there for you. And I will put that as well in my outline, since you guys can't fucking seem to pay attention about it. Where was the... I don't know why they say secretly. I'd like to find the actual case one day. That would be nice. But yeah, it was interest and the $400 million that we owed for that. Okay, where do I want to go to with 30 minutes? 30 minutes. Do you know you have 30 minutes? Where is... I don't know. Let's see if I can get through this immigration segment that I've had on here for a long time. So, NBC ran an article, and there's been a hearing since then. Okay, guys, make sure we're still doing all the good things and tapping that screen. Almost to 75,000 likes, but it's after 7:30. But let's keep doing the things. I would appreciate it. DACA recipients say months-long renewal delays prevent them from working, putting their lives in limbo. Why do you do this? I gotta go to the paywall. I cannot stand that everything is behind a fucking paywall now. The news should not be behind a paywall. You are making people pay to be educated, pay to be informed. That's absolutely disgusting. Get your shit together. Okay. Really? You're not going to load it? Okay. There have been delays. I don't know if you guys know this. There have been delays in the in DACA, and the problem with that is that it puts them, they are filing their paperwork and doing all the correct things, but they are forcing these delays so that then they can say that they're outside of compliance and put removal orders on them so that they can deport them. That's a fucking problem. DACA, they need to figure out DACA, and I think that Biden should have tried to figure that out. I know Republicans blocked them a lot. But DACA are kind of in a shit position where they don't have a pathway to citizenship in the same way that other like visa holders do. And that's a problem. And so it puts them up for deportation, even though a lot of them, again, it was deferred action. But a lot of them were children when they were brought here. And that was the whole point, is we were meant to be protecting children. But apparently we're not doing that.
I am a DACA recipient, a mother, and a member of my community in Sacramento, California. I work hard, pay taxes, raise my daughter well, and give back to my community. For the past 4 years, I manage a property that partners with the city of Sacramento to help homeless people find safe housing, meals, and support for their families, especially during the holidays. I have spent years in my own capacity helping vulnerable people in my community. 3 months ago, the entire life I built in this country for more than 3 decades was suddenly in danger. I walked into a scheduled immigration appointment for my green card application, believing I was moving forward with my future in this country. But on February 18th, I was handcuffed, detained, and deported from the United States in less than 24 hours.
Of course, Bob is already starting. Bob, you were saying that 20 million? Is that what you said? 20 million people here illegally? Bob, where are you getting that number from? You know common sense. Okay, common sense. Find me the DHS or ICE or CBP that says 20 million people. Can you do that for me?
Oh, while having DACA.
So she is a DACA recipient who was deported. She's doing everything, and like Lynatti says, over 80 DACA recipients have been deported. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're filing the way that they are supposed to file, and yet we are still rounding them up. I thought that we were fine with people as long as they were doing it the correct way. That is the correct way. I thought that you guys would be good with that. No? Apparently not. Okay. So this had happened too. We hadn't gotten a chance to get to it again. This is stuff that I've had that we've just been behind on. So an Ohio-based federal appeals court has become the third to reject ICE's bid to expand detention without bond to millions of immigrants residing in the United States for years without criminal records. And again, always have, thank you, Kyle Cheney, having the hyperlink of the source. I'm going to read the paragraph of the conclusion, however. This is the third that we have seen. We are not mass deporting. We are mass detaining. And the problem is you're not allowed to do that without having a conviction or, a charge, right? Without having some sort of criminal record or a charge. And the problem is that we are detaining people who do not have charges and denying them bond. You can't do that. They have to see a judge if you're going to hold them for a certain amount of time, extensive periods of detainment. That is just the law. That is the Constitution. I know you guys hate that, but that is the way it is. So I'm going to read it. Conclusion. Petitioners are more than just names on a pleading. Petitioners have lived in the United States for years or decades. Some, such as Juan Lopez Campos or Freddy de los Angelos Flores, own property or work for locally owned businesses. Others, such as Juaro, I apologize if I said that wrong, Manuel Godoy Perez, have worked with law enforcement to facilitate criminal prosecutions. All appear to contribute to their neighborhoods and local communities. Many are the primary breadwinners or essential caregivers for their families, which include their children who are born here and are citizens of the United States. Though the government has now released petitioners from detention, our understanding of 1225B2A scope ensures that non-citizens, like petitioners, should have a forum to explain that their backgrounds and connections to their communities justify release on bond while they undergo their removal proceedings. To hold otherwise would subject long-term law-abiding residents in the United States, such as petitioners, to the hardship of mandatory detention without due process. Again, you don't have to like it. You can change it. Congress is not doing that. But you don't have to like it. But they have every right to due process that has been written by the Supreme Court multiple times over. We're probably going to see it again with the 14th Amendment up for debate again. They have the right to due process. You do not get to just hold them while you try to do removal proceedings. They have to also have bond. They have to have bond hearings. You don't just get to hold them with no charges. That is not how this works. And that is what Ohio Federal Appeals Court ruled. Again, I have the entire 62 pages that you can also read because it is cited in that tweet. And you can read the entirety of the case before you get to the conclusion. And they were released. Why? Because they have to be. Because they were violating their due process. So don't tell me that they're not violating due process. They are. Let me get to this. Hopefully this one's not behind a paywall. No. Oh, this one was a video. I remember. So the amount of deportations, more so detainments that they have, is leading to children being alone, left without parents, which I don't understand why you guys are okay with, because I thought you'd be, for the children, but apparently you aren't. W's to big, huge W's to Manny. You did not need to do that. W's to Manny for the $50 on the Blue app. Thank you so much. Guys, that brings us all the way down to 25 for the rest of our goal. We're here for like 20 more minutes, so let's see if we can get that accomplished. But I want to see huge W's. Yeah, to Manuel. That's crazy, Sparky. To Manuel in the chat for getting us all the way down there. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. They're foreigners. Who cares? Dorian, the Constitution does. The Constitution cares, Dorian. Do you hate the Constitution? Do you not like the Constitution? You know what the SCOTUS is debating right now? Okay. So let's talk about children being left behind because of what this administration is doing.
New research from the Brookings Institution finds that by detaining 400,000 immigrants over the past 14 months, the Trump administration also stripped about 145,000 American children of at least one parent. Data from the Department of Homeland Security calculates a much smaller number, 60,000. Tara Watson is one of the Brookings study's authors, and she joins us now to discuss that discrepancy and more. Tara, thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
The Washington Post recently reported a story about a woman who was in the United States illegally and was deported without her toddler, Orlin Hernandez Reyes, who was a U.S. citizen. The child was left with a violent uncle who allegedly murdered him. How much information?
I don't know if you guys had seen that story. She was taken. She was deported. Her child was given to an uncle who murdered him. A child. You guys cool with that?
Information is the government collecting on cases where a U.S. citizen child is left without their parent?
There's surprisingly little information provided by the government about the children of people who are detained or deported. The government does produce annual statistics, but we believe those to be quite an undercount. Probably only about half of children are recorded.
So now Richard Lynch, which is a different Richard, but Richard Lynch, I just want to be clear, that's not the one we were talking to earlier, says deport the children. They're United States citizens. Why should they be deported? They have no choice about where they are born.
In that way, both because ICE doesn't always follow the directive to ask people whether they have children in the U.S., but also because immigrants don't always feel comfortable sharing that information.
Lunchbox, that's not what SCOTUS has ruled, is it? You don't get to rule for them because Lunchbox, that's not what SCOTUS has ruled the 14th Amendment's purpose for in previous cases, let alone yet this case, which we do not have the opinion for. Right, Lunchbox? You don't get to decide that. SCOTUS does.
For fear of further enforcement against their family.
You mentioned ICE asking those questions. They're supposed to ask detainees about their parental status. Why doesn't that always happen?
I think ICE isn't really in the business of child welfare. That's not their primary mission. And when we're talking about citizen children who they wouldn't be doing an immigration enforcement related to, they would prefer to just move on. And if the person that they're arresting or detaining doesn't bring up a child, they may have an incentive to not ask them.
Dorian, you said, who cares? Rewrite it. If they wrote something that's stupid, rewrite it. Who rewrites it? Dorian? Who rewrites it? Who passes legislation? And who interprets the Constitution? Yes, we will have to see Lunchbox. By the way, just in case you didn't know, Lunchbox, Donald Trump is already having hissy fits on Truth Social, pretty much anticipating the fact that SCOTUS is going to rule against him on that.
Question.
How common is it for the children
Who cares what they wrote? Then you don't care about the Constitution, Dorian. I'm so sorry.
To remain here when their parent does get deported?
We don't have perfect information about that.
Bob, you said, how about caring about the Americans first? That was a U.S. citizen child that was murdered because of them deporting his mother. So apparently you don't care about Americans first, let alone American children, because you hate his mother so much that she got deported, and so he was then murdered by his uncle. You're fine with that? Also, can you show me a policy that Donald Trump has implemented that is American first and actually benefiting Americans?
Again, this is an area where there isn't.
I couldn't care less about what some dumb fuck said billion years ago. I'm glad that you realize that our country is billions of years old. I'm so proud of you, Dorian. You're doing so great, sweetie. You're doing great, sweetie. A billion years ago, when the founders lived with the dinosaurs and wrote our Constitution, Dorian doesn't care about that. So it's great.
Enough transparency. We believe that in most cases, the children, especially the citizen children, are staying in the U.S. with friends and family. Unfortunately,
David, use the right you are, and then you can call me trash, babe. You're doing great. So proud of you guys.
Unfortunately, sometimes, as in the case you mentioned earlier, there isn't a great option for a parent to leave the child with, and they end up choosing a situation that may not be great for the child.
Burning down the house. No, you are incorrect. There are actually other countries that also have birthright citizenship, so you are incorrect on that. Real quick, can I get W's for Juicy Juice for the $5? Thank you so much. You didn't put a message. You said for period or a decimal point, whichever one you want to call it. But W's to Juicy Juice for the $5. Guys, that brings us down to 20 with about 15 minutes left. Let's try and get that down, shall we?
In the long run.
Who are these citizen children that get separated from their parents? I know you guys gathered some information about what parts of the country they're from, how old they are, the parents' country of origin that they're deported back to. Paint that picture for us.
Sure. So the children are all ages. About a third of them are under age 6.
Real quick, though, W's to Nina. Before we move on, I want to make sure Nina knows that I saw that. W's to Nina. For the 10, states may have to revisit the reunification policies because of Trump. They had to the first time. Right, Nina? The issues that we had with family separation policy that he instituted, and as a deterrent, remember? That's how cruel he was, that as a deterrent, he was trying to do family separation, and did do family separation. Also, the DNA in and of itself. So that in and of itself. So W's to Nina for that. I appreciate it. That brings us down to 10. But so the mess that we were trying to clean up even from his first term, we're now going to have to clean up on his fucking second term. Oh, you were trying to make me do math, but I got out of it, Kelly. I got out of the math, Kelly. W's to Kelly for the 1127 for Just Because, which, guys, completes the goal today. W to you. I appreciate you guys so much. While we are sitting here, Olive did not get her goal completed. She had 27 left in her goal, so we're going to put that up if you would like to go to the links in her bio to finish the 27 out. But thank you, W's to Kelly, and W's to you all for completing that goal out today. I appreciate it so much. It's disgusting. Your lack of humanity is disgusting. I'm not surprised. The jaw doesn't drop anymore. It's just what it is.
Real quick on this Memorial Day, I'd like to share with you the important message that Trump gave at the Arlington National Cemetery.
Oh, God, what'd he say?
You know, I got the World Cup and I got the Olympics. The 250 years was not mine. I'd like to take credit for it, but I got the Olympics. I got the World Cup when I was president. But most important of all is the 250th anniversary. That blows everything away, including the World Cup and including the Olympics.
You didn't get those things. Those were years and decades in the making. What do you mean?
And he'd like to take credit for the 250 years, so...
Oh, yeah, I see. All the clips are coming in now of him. Oh, he's falling asleep again!
And, whoever that dumb fuck is wearing his hat the whole time.
Who?
Pretty sure that's someone he pardoned from his last administration.
Oh, really?
Just a good old group of American patriots.
I can't with these people. All right, we'll finish this segment out, though.
And it, of course, it goes up all the way up to age 17, which is the oldest age we consider to be a child. They're largely U.S. citizens, as was said earlier, and their parents come from a range of countries, but the most dominant countries are in Latin America and Central America.
What happens to these children when their parents are detained? What are the welfare systems in place, and what's the emotional support for these kids that's supposed to be offered?
So really there is no system in place, which is part of what motivated us to do this study and try to better understand, at a minimum, how many children we were talking about. The ICE doesn't have an obligation to provide for the welfare of those children as long as someone is taking care of them. The child welfare system also doesn't have an obligation to get involved unless there's an accusation of abuse or neglect. So really, there is no system that is looking out for these kids, making sure the placements they're in are safe. And I think that's a problem.
You mentioned that there are potential gaps in the government data right now. How confident are you in your data? Explain this methodology.
I can explain how we came up with these estimates. Since we didn't have numbers from the government, what we had to do is take information on the detainees, which we do have access to. We know things like what country they're from, how old they are, whether they're male or female, whether they're married. And then we turn to survey data. We look at survey data of undocumented immigrants who are living in the U.S., and we say, well, we know a certain fraction of people who have a certain age or marital status have kids, and they have a certain number of kids per parent. And so we applied those numbers to the detainee population, which we do know about.
Why is this research necessary? What's important for the public to understand about your findings?
I think the most important thing is that the children that we are deciding collectively to separate from a parent or both parents need to have their well-being ensured, and we don't have a system in place for that. As a first step, the government should be providing data on how many children and what's happening to those children. For example, some children are being put on deportation planes.
I love how, I just want to know, nobody in the YouTube chat is actually addressing what's going on with children in this country. Children. They are freaking out, calling Democrats socialists and commies, saying that Democrats bring in a hellhole. The cope is coping. The cope is wild.
Even as U.S. citizens, they're not being formally deported because they're citizens, but they may be going with their parents at their parents' request to the country of origin of the parent. We don't have any statistics that are publicly released about this. So the government should be sharing what they know, and they should be ensuring that the data on the children is collected so we can make sure that the kids are in good situations.
Hi, Manny.
Hey, yeah, I actually was, because I heard her say that it is not ICE's responsibility, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, she said it's also not ORR's, HHS's responsibility as well to check in on the welfare of the children.
I didn't hear the second part. She did say it about ICE. What I would say is when we're talking about those unaccompanied children and where they were placed, there was definitely some sort of lapse, some sort of issue within HHS and ORR. But
yeah, I mean, I want to make sure before I go into my statement, I know she said the thing about ICE because I agree about ICE. I want to make sure, did she mention? I think she mentioned HHS, but which she's referencing ORR because ORR is underneath HHS.
Let me see if I can.
Well, and even at the local level, Department of Child and Family Services would fall under HHS. So,
yeah, no, I'm just saying because a lot of people believe that because we're talking about migrants, when we're talking about UACs, it should be only strictly underneath DHS, but HHS has a subdivision or an agency underneath it rather that is Office of Refugee Resettlement, I believe it's called, and that is underneath HHS, and that deals with, as it sounds, refugees as well as children, and that is because we have a provision in I can't remember the law, but there's a provision within Title VIII that states a UAC cannot be held within a UAC cannot be held or separated from a parent more than 72 hours, or else they have to go underneath ORR's.
Right. So what she said, she didn't mention ORR or HHS. What she said was that ICE doesn't have an obligation to find out where these children are placed and what happens to them after the fact. And she said that the welfare system, so what I think she means is like CPS, is, again, she works for Brookings. So yes, she means the welfare system as CPS has no obligation to do this unless there is abuse reported. She doesn't mention ORR or HHS.
It's just wild that the same people complaining about like the lack of cooperation between law enforcement, like state and local law enforcement and immigration, are the same people not relaying the information that these people have been detained.
Okay, that's fair. The like I said, the reason why I came up was because even if she didn't, clearly she didn't, but even if she did not say anything about HHS or ORR's division, ICE does not have an obligation to these children, and this directly goes to the zero tolerance policy underneath Donald Trump's administration, as well as the quote unquote 300,000, 140,000, 50,000, 400,000, whatever missing children that conservatives are talking about. ICE has no obligation to those children. And while I vehemently disagree on the morals of that practice. Yeah. I completely disagree, especially when you put a policy in place that has ICE overseeing these children for at least 72 hours. At least 72 hours, because when they were separated, they were handed over to ICE, and then ICE handed them over to HHS. That chain of like custody, having ICE in the middle of that means that, to me, morally, ICE has a direct impact and a direct obligation to check on the well-being of these individuals.
Well, I think it would be similar to when
UACs.
Right. it would, to me, it should be similar to when a cop pulls over a drunk driver who has their kids in the car. What they do is immediately call CPS or a family member, right? But let's say a family member is not available. You call CPS and you wait there until CPS shows up. You don't take custody of those children. They don't go to the police station with you.
Yes.
Like,
so,
what the fuck?
Yeah. So that's why I was just like coming up and it's like, 'cause so many people have this idea that that the Biden administration, it's like ICE does not have, it never had the obligation, and it did not have the funding, and they don't use the funding currently for this, but it does not have the funding nor the personnel to actually take care of children. It does not have that capacity. It does not have that, and that's not what ICE was. Oh my God, that is not what ICE was reinvented for.
Right.
I'll say.
Right.
That's not what ICE purpose was. That is why we have HHS's ORR. That's actually why, and this is also exacerbated by the Flores agreement, which was the the 19 whatever court case. The Flores agreement, which states that children cannot.
Children?
Huh?
Never mind, you said it. Sorry, I don't know why downstairs has delayed internet. Ignore me.
Okay. The Flores agreement, which stated that children cannot be held in a detention center for longer than 72 hours, which is why the Dilley Center is such in a chaotic state,
Right.
because those children are being held longer. I don't even think it's 72. I think it's 48 for the children in the Dilley Center. But either way, like, that is an issue. But the Flores agreement, as well as TVPRA, these patchwork agreements held by a court ruling has caused an issue within the two divisions of DHS, or two departments within DHS and HHS, to oversee these children. We have an issue that this administration has catastrophically failed in his first administration, is continuing that in the second. Did Biden do anything to fix this? Outside of family reunification, I can effectively say Biden did not do anything to help to help stop or fix this patchwork.
Yeah.
He tried family reunification. I can give him credit for that, especially because that was we're flying migrants over, right? That's not true. We're flying migrants over to pick up their children, or we're flying migrants to their family members. That's what family reunification was for, specifically ICE. But the idea that these children are at the fault of the Biden administration, no, it's a catastrophic failure on the immigration system as a whole.
Correct.
That these children not only are lost in the system, lost being not somewhere in the fields somewhere, just like their paperwork is literally lost because nobody wants to accept responsibility and own to the fact that that needs to be tracked. That's the issue.
That's a problem in HHS. Like, children of illegal immigrants aside, like Department of Human Services fails on like children in the foster care system,
Right.
overall. Like,
Right. We don't give a fuck about kids in this country at all, regardless of their status or their parents' status. We do not care about fucking kids in this country.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I just when I heard her. Oh shit.
Oh my God, Raymond.
Elon. I'm not saying you can't have him, but like maybe after he gets off.
Wait, what?
Nothing. That's all I came up for. It's just like when I heard her say like ICE's responsibility is not to the children. It's like I fucking scream that from the mountaintops. Yeah. It is not.
That's a
I don't
problem.
agree with it.
Yeah, it's a failure in
it's
the
not.
system. But yeah.
It has never been, and underneath this administration, it never will be. But love y'all. I'm gonna jump back down.
Love you. People in the YouTube chat, you're crying is what you're doing. You said, how can immigrants be illegal? They're illegal criminal aliens. They're not unless they are charged and convicted with a crime. Again, I don't think you guys understand how this works. Somebody tried to pivot from saying that we are using children as clutching pearls and virtue signaling when we talk about clump of cells. I'm talking about real children. I'm talking about children that are born. I'm not talking about the imaginary ones that you think are going to have the potential to become life. Okay? So there's a difference there. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Chris, 32, Louisiana.
Who did you
And
vote
Trump.
for? Oh, you voted for Trump? Why are you
Yep.
still supporting Trump?
Because he's the greatest man to ever live.
How so?
Because he keeps winning.
How?
Because he's the president.
Honey, are you okay? Did you take your Flintstone vitamins this morning?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, then can you give me one policy of Donald Trump's that you support?
I like what he's doing with Iran.
What about it?
He keeps proving people wrong.
How so?
Because like a week or two ago, it was like people like you thought it was going to be the end of the world, and like everything, nothing has changed.
Never said that. I said that he lied when he said it would be 4 to 6 weeks, and we are now well past that. And the only thing that we have to show for it is higher gas prices and higher grocery prices, and still no end to that war. So I never said it was the end of the world. That did not happen. But what are we getting out of it that's beneficial?
I think we've been fighting with these people for over 40 years, so he's finally getting it done. To
No,
get
I
us
asked,
out of
what are
there.
we? Yeah, he's getting it done. He's getting what done? What are we getting out of it?
We won't have his influence in the Middle East that much anymore.
We won't?
Yeah, the United States of America. Like, we've been having issues with these people for 40 plus years, and now he's finally getting our influence from around their borders and less.
He's
like,
getting our influence.
responsibility.
He's getting our influence out, or are we just putting the boot on harder?
Like they're about to have a deal done. You're not
Are
keeping
they?
up with the news.
Well, that's-
I know.
Did Iran say that? Because Iran is saying the opposite.
Iran. I mean, I say fuck Iran.
Well,
I say we
then
should
there would
nuke
be
them.
no. I know, honey, but then there would be no deal because if they don't agree to one side of the deal, you can't have a deal without two sides agreeing. So if Iran
right,
does, if
calm
Iran
down.
doesn't agree, if
Calm
I'm not,
down.
I'm very, very calm. If Iran does not
Yeah, did
agree,
you take your
then there is
medicine?
no deal. I actually am not
you
on
got your
any.
pad
I am
on?
not on
You
any
got your
prescription.
pad on?
I actually am. I am on the end of my period, about day 5 or 6. So
Yeah.
I do have my pad.
I
I no
know,
longer
you're
am
so
using a tampon.
angry.
Last day tampon was yesterday. So thank you for asking. I'm so proud of your
Calm
concern.
down.
But a deal
Calm
does not
down.
work if both sides don't agree.
Says who?
If Iran doesn't agree to a deal, how is a deal done? Are they going to open the Strait of Hormuz if they don't agree to that deal?
When you pronounce Iran like that, does it make you feel good?
That's not what I asked you. If they do not agree to a deal, does the Strait of Hormuz open?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not over there.
Cool. So then we're
I know
not getting anything out of it. Donald Trump can keep saying that there's going to be a deal, but there's not going to be one unless Iran agrees to it.
Well, who cares at the end of the day?
Then
People
we're
are-
still going
the
to be
world-
over there
like-
fighting. No,
like-
who cares
like
is the
you're
fact that
still
I asked you. You
hysteria.
said,
Everything has died down.
You said, no, it has not
Continue.
died down. Nothing has died down. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. We have a blockade on their blockade. People are not being able to get through with oil tankers. Hence, our oil prices keep going up.
Well, life goes on. You can't cry about it.
No, I can't cry about it. I can critique it and say that Donald Trump started a war that is not giving us anything beneficial, which you have still yet
I
to be
don't know.
able
My
to prove
life
to me.
hasn't changed. I don't feel like I'm at war. Everything's the same.
I didn't
except
say that
people
you
are
were at
still
war.
crying.
Our country is at war. We have lost 13 service
We're not
members.
at
We have
war.
lost. Tell Donald Trump that because he's the one who keeps saying it. We have lost 13.
Donald Trump.
We have
the
lost
man.
13 service members. We
should
have
be
lost
king of the
13 service
planet.
members. Lanati, he called DeGlaze Trump's taint, and now he's having issues
you
with the fact that
care-
he has no
and you
facts
care-
behind the things he believes. He just
You
believes
care
them
so
really,
much
really
about
hard
those
in his
13
fifis and
people
his
that
heart.
passed away.
So
You
13,
care so
13
much
service
about
members
them.
have passed away, and yet we are no closer to any kind of resolution that is beneficial for the United States.
Life goes on.
Okay, so you don't care. You just like Trump.
I love Trump.
Have you hit up his
He
DMs?
should be the king of the planet. He should be
I
king of the
know,
planet.
I
He should
know.
put people like you in prison for life.
Okay, what did I do what law did I violate to be put in prison?
Because you violated the morale law.
The
and you're a
morale
fucking
law.
idiot.
Ooh, that's a new one.
You
No,
caused all
maybe
the
I just
problems in the
actually
world
deal.
with your
I actually deal
period.
in facts, and I'm so sorry that your brain is so
I mean, what
deluded.
happens when
That your
there's a
brain is
war
so
and
deluded
people
that you
kick your?
can't
What
think
happens
about
in?
facts. What happens when you grow a brain? If I only had a brain. W Blue, let me get the sound for hubbub.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
If he wanted to know about my menstrual cycle, we could have just talked about that. But yes, I am about on day 5 or 6. I am using a panty liner, technically not a pad today because it is light enough. I can use a panty liner. For all the females who know, they know. And my last day of using a tampon was yesterday because I don't think I need one anymore. My flow is not as heavy. But I'm sure he's uncomfortable talking about that. But he brought it up, so.
The greatest man to ever live is like false prophet much, bud? And then, like, if you made a deal to buy his house for $1, it's in the works.
Yeah.
But he's saying two sides don't have to agree to
No.
the deal. So
You want to buy my house for $1, but I'm not agreeing to that. It doesn't matter. Life goes on, man. No, lady, we don't hear that shit. Well, Lunchbox, maybe he shouldn't have brought it up. And maybe actually, Lunchbox, you should work on your deconstruction of the patriarchy to be more comfortable talking about menstrual cycles. Maybe that would probably be a good idea for you. We heard you're singing You've Got Mad Flow is crazy, RK.
I mean, we came to the conclusion that somehow all of us on the internet
We're starting to
are
sink.
synced.
Ooh.
That's how I was synced with you, I think. Or either I started right after you ended.
Parkers, are those like scented though? Like I can't have no like scented stuff.
What, honey pot or something?
On the kitty. No, she said minty panty liners. They're fresh AF. But I don't know.
Minty is crazy.
That sounds like it would burn. I don't know.
Oh, I wonder if it's like a good burn.
That's just not a subject I need to discuss. Listen, Lunchbox, I don't talk about it, but he brought it up, okay? He was the one who said if I've got my pad on. And I was like, yeah, I do. I've got a panty liner
That
on.
sounds steam. I don't do tampons.
Sage is in the mint family. You could make one out of sage and then technically smudge and get rid of the evil spirits while.
No minty kitty, thank you.
No minty fresh breath for the partners.
I mean, never mind.
I can't imagine what your life would be like having your worldview. It's nice. I have critical thinking skills and I actually research the things. I don't just believe things, I research them. So it's actually nice. I'm not a Democrat, so there's also that. I am a registered independent, so there's also that. I volunteered too much info. How is it? Okay, we're gonna, look, okay, I have to get off because I have to feed my kids, but we're gonna talk about this for a second. Just for a fucking second. As we hit 100,000 likes. You guys, 100,000 likes, and you win the prize of deconstructing the patriarchy. I'm so happy for all of you. Why is it too much information for me to share that as a woman with a female anatomy, like most women with female anatomies and most female people, I have a menstrual cycle. And that menstrual cycle comes about every 28 days to a month. And I have to deal with it. Regardless of what the world is going through, my uterus decides to get very, very fucking mad and shatter its uterine lining. Why is that too much information to volunteer? Does that make you uncomfortable? To know that there are females that walk around and have to deal with it? Do you know that when you don't have a menstrual cycle, you should probably get it checked out because there might be some sort of medical issue? You're probably pregnant, baby. Congrats. Why is that too much information to share? That's something you need to deconstruct within the patriarchy. You being uncomfortable with a woman expressing that information is you needing to deconstruct the patriarchy. Dorian, I wasn't talking about you. We were talking about Lunchbox. But there's a lot of people apparently who are very uncomfortable talking about menstrual cycles. You have 3
Now we're
daughters
talking
and 2
about
granddaughters.
sex.
You have 3 daughters and 2 granddaughters, and it's volunteering too much information. Mency Mondays is crazy, and it's too much information to talk about. Too much information to volunteer. What's it gonna do to you if you know that I'm on my period? Nothing? Oh, you're gonna become misogynistic and say that, oh my god, she's on the rag and that's why she's emotional, when I've been calm this entire time.
I mean, personally, I like learning about new things about menstrual products and stuff like that.
I'm gonna
Mike.
post a video
Oh, what
in the
video?
chat.
Uh-huh.
That Jane Austen's period drama one.
Oh God, yeah, that one is funny though. That one is funny. Please
It's
put that
so
in the
funny.
Discord.
Got you.
Mike, you said everything depends on where you do your researching. Out of course, you can get whatever answer you're looking for if you look at the right place. Wrong. That's wrong. If you're citing Reddit or Facebook or Twitter, you're already wrong. You're on day 10 of your period. Exactly. Southern Beach. We all know. We know what's going on. I believe your personal interest should be your personal information. There's nothing personal about my menstrual cycle. Everybody can know about that. I really could give a fuck less. That's not personal to me. Oh my God. I bleed once a month. Oh no. God, Lord. Cagon, take me away. All right. Thank you guys, everybody, for completing the goal. Did you ever check your Venmo, Olive? I don't know if you did or not.
She did. I saw her say thank you.
Oh, what am I doing?
Oh, no, I was just making sure if you checked your Venmo. Your mother obviously is a hoochie skank as well for not letting you know it's improper to speak up. Oh, sweetie. Oh, honey, it's so hard. No, that's the patriarchy, sweetie. That's just the patriarchy.
Thank you, Blue, for the 533 on Venmo. Is that what I was supposed to look at? I was cleaning downstairs.
I think so. All right. Ay, why are we using slurs for Jewish people in the chat? Thank you, whoever caught that. It's crazy. Anyway, apparently it does make them very, very mad to talk about menstrual cycles. We might have to add a Mency Monday and maybe just slowly give out menstrual cycle facts every Monday, because apparently it makes them very, very uncomfortable to talk about. But on that note, thank you guys so much for supporting me and hitting that goal. I appreciate it so much. Huge motherfucking W's to Oya and to Mia and to Ari, but especially Oya, for knocking out my gift goal for the entire fucking week. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Who is live? Who's going live? Anybody? Blue, you talked about it. Are you doing it? Blue?
I mean, we'll try to go in the mid-afternoon so Manny can do his immigration one this week just to see what numbers look like.
Right. It's like I don't really have. Because if
But, like,
not,
I don't know.
I'm napping. Nap typing.
Sleep typing.
Sleep typing is crazy. Menstruation Mondays. All right. There's not really anybody to raid, so we're not gonna. But we'll come back. What time are you guys doing that? You not have a set time yet?
No set time, right? We don't know yet.
That's fair. Okay. I was just checking. So on that note, guys, make sure you are taking care of yourselves. If this is a Memorial Day that you are honoring because you personally have dealt with that with service members in your family, I'm sending you all the love that I can. So make sure we're not telling people happy Memorial Day, President Trump, because that's not what we do. It's not a happy occasion. It is a somber day of remembrance, and we all need to take note of that. So, guys, I don't have anywhere to send you, but that is okay. I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. We will be back. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, spending time with friends and family. Do something nice for yourself. Drink some water. And I love you all so very, very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.